Welcome to the Spark Report. John W Davis and Pavy. You're watching us live on YouTube, HMB Media. Pavy, what's going on, my man? How you feeling?
I'm chilling, bro. How you feeling?
Good. It was nice to be in the convention center to watch the LA Sparks play basketball in person. This was our first game in person since September of 2019.
It was.
That is an extremely long time for not only for us, but for them to not have played basketball in LA.
Agreed. Real quick, I don't mean to cut you off, but what did you think about the because obviously they playing in the convention center. It's not their normal arena, Staples Center. What did you think about it? Me personally, I actually kind of like it. I thought that whoever built it, I thought that they did a good job building it. I liked it personally.
I felt like I walked into the Wubble.
Yeah, low key. Yeah,
That's what I felt like. NECA said it in her post game that she said it felt a little bubblish, but I thought it was spacious. I thought that it has room once they can have fans in June and July. It has room for the season ticket holders that will be able to come. And I think it's great that it is in downtown Los Angeles. The other benefit about it is they literally got to build this thing from scratch. This is a convention hall, which was totally empty. Nothing was in there that you saw in there on Saturday. So everything is custom and curated, and they had a preseason game. I'm sure they will make improvements, and it will be even better on Friday.
Agreed. I remember the first preseason game that I went to. I covered the Sparks. It was like a Pasadena high school or like City College.
Yes,
this is definitely for sure a step up. And again, I want to give kudos to whoever designed it and curated the space. I think they did a wonderful job with it.
Yeah, it's way better than playing at a community college, or honestly, it might even be a little better than playing at some, I don't want to say random, but at a various university around here. I mean, this is custom made for basketball, and all of the players who played in the Wubble last year, this is going to be similar to that. And it gives them a home court advantage because this is going to be the most unique, essentially, stage that anybody's going to play on this season. Everybody else is in a traditional arena from day one. Even if it's a small gym, they're in traditional arenas. So it's a benefit to LA.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. But 85-85, was that the first time you ever saw a basketball game tie? You ever seen a tie? I've never seen a tie.
I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. I might have saw one I can't really remember if I ever seen one. Maybe in high school or something like that. But I don't think I've ever seen a basketball game on a tie. For good reason, though.
No, definitely good reason, because 2 minutes and 49 seconds into the game, Angel McCoughtry went down. She ended up tearing 2 portions of her knee, so she's out for the season.
It was 2? I thought it was just her ACL.
And a meniscus.
Oh, my goodness.
It was both. It was both. So, yeah, shout out to her. She seems to be in really good spirits, and, she is the type of person who is not going to let this be the last time we see her on the court.
Yeah.
So
she even alluded to that in her statement.
Most definitely. So shout out to Angel. Sad to see it happen, but I know that she can come back from something like this because she's come back from something like this before. And we saw her last year. Last year, she was a key portion to that team. Agreed. If they had an all-star game last season, she would have been on the all-star team. Yeah. So she was back to that level and probably was going to progress to be an even better player this year than last year. So shout out to her. The Aces are interesting. I know this is a Spark report, and we're definitely going to talk about the Sparks, but the Aces are interesting because when you looked at their roster in the beginning, you go down at like their top 7, and that was including McCoughtry. You were like, man, they got to be the championship favorites on paper.
I never thought that, actually.
You didn't think that? If I say, oh, my team is Chelsea Gray, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Raquana Williams. Those are my guards. And then my front court is Angel McCoughtry, Asia Wilson, Liz Cambage, and De'Erica Hamby. You didn't think that was a championship favorite?
Now, my question for them is, well, okay, one thing. I think they would have to be predicated off defense because I don't like the spacing on the court personally. You know
Hey,
how I feel about, but
Cambage had 21 and Wilson had 19. They was eating.
yes, and I have a comment about that, and we can get to the Sparks because that was something I noticed. Granted, they were missing like 5 or 6 players. We can get to that and work our way around to it, but obviously they're playing inside out. But I just think a team that can space the floor and space them out, they might have issues with because even when I look at their roster, I don't outside of Kelsey, I don't really see much shooting. I think Asia's a good
Raquana Williams.
you want to call her a shooter?
Don't forget about the micro. Did you see what she did in the fourth quarter? 3 straight possessions. It was bam, bam, bam. 3 straight threes.
I saw it. And like Raquana,
she can do that every other game.
Listen. I watched.
She's going to do that once a week.
Listen, I watched Raquana 2 years in a row. Yes, when she's on, she's on. But when she's off, she is also off. I don't think they have any outside of Kelsey. I personally don't see much consistent shooting on the court. Could be wrong. It could not matter.
But Pavy, Raquana Williams shot about 43 to 45% last season from the 3 over all of those games. That adds up to consistent shooting. Just because she makes 4 or 5 one day and then misses 8 the next, like statistically, it still adds up.
She shot 45% last year. Let's see, last year.
Look it up. Look it up. It was
42,
like
42. It was 43. Like she's a career 35. Last year she was 42. The year before she was 39, 37. Last year
she was cashing, and she was really cashing them in before she had that knee injury.
Then it was 27, 34, 22, 38, 32. We'll see this season also with fans back in the stands.
She was 3 or 4. Made 3 straight.
We'll see. But still,
they're going to have to rely on her. She's going to have to be the first guard off the bench because Kelsey Plum has to go play 3-on-3.
Of course.
And Kelsey Plum may need to start.
Probably.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Hamby will never start, apparently.
She doesn't need to. I mean, she's like an incredible 6 woman.
Man, I would love to see their starting lineup be Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Angel's going, excuse me, De'Erica Hamby, really Asia Wilson, and Liz Cambage.
Now look.
De'Erica Hamby can shoot, and Plum can shoot.
Plum can shoot, yes.
Plum is a willing shooter. Plum get the ball to shoot. Plum and Raquana are kind of the same. They get the ball, they shoot.
I trust Kelsey's 3-pointer more than I trust Raquana's personally. I think I personally.
Look at the percentages, though.
I feel you. I understand that, but I think I trust Kelsey's 3-pointer more than I trust Raquana's 3-pointer. That's just my personal opinion. But with Vegas, I think they do pose they pose matchup problems for everybody. I do think that, and I think defensively they can obviously be a great defensive ball club as well.
Because their height is unmatched.
Yeah, you just like you get down there and you got trees down there. It's like you probably can't even see the rim.
Their height is unmatched because not only is it Cambage, but then it's Wilson too. If it was 1, okay, then it would be closer to the Phoenix Mercury.
But it's 2.
And Brianna Turner on Phoenix, her size is nothing in comparison to Asia Wilson. Wilson's a tree.
That and Asia's mobile. Like if she gets stuck out on the perimeter, I'm not worried about her guarding anybody. Asia is very, very mobile. So
I'm gonna need her to start pulling from 3 though. I'm gonna need her to start camping a little bit and start pulling from 3 because she can do it.
I think that it would help. Again, I think it would help the spacing of their offense, but I think that probably what Bill sees when he sees that team is she's very efficient from the mid range. Also, I think Bill Laimbeer is kind of like a more old school style of coach as well. And I think that he thinks he probably values her 55% from 2, 55, 60% from 2 over what he would value her 34, 35% from 3. But I do agree. I would love to see her stretch her game out because I do agree she can knock down a 3, especially from the corners.
And the inverse for Cambage, I would like to see Cambage get out there and shoot some 3s too, because they have to play together. Like, yeah, you can try to break them up for most of the game, but the beginning of the game, the end of the game, they're going to be out there together. And Liz Cambage she's too tall to not have her shoot 3 to 4 to 5 foot shots. I mean, she should make 75% of her shots within 5 feet. Like, they're just bunnies.
And you know how I feel about taller WNBA players. If you're like 6'7", your forward height, it's probably going to be actually easier for you to shoot than it probably is for a lot of guards to shoot.
I saw a preseason shot from Asia Wilson in that first game when they did the scrimmage against the Sparks. Not the one that we saw, but that one. Her stroke looked better than 90% of the league.
Yeah, of course.
Just off rip because she's 6'4", 6'5".
6'4". She can actually.
Right. And it was no hitch in it like you may see from some other players like Chelsea Gray, how she kind of has that hitch,
like little push.
That push shot, that hitch, or even that was one thing I noticed about Stephanie Watts. I noticed that she kind of had a little hitch in her shot too.
Yeah.
And so, those are the types of things that you notice when you're sitting there watching the game. And where we get to watch from this year, we're not watching from behind the basket. We have an even better perspective from the sideline, pretty much as close as we want to be to half court as possible. Yeah. And so I think that's going to change our perspective on the game as well.
Yeah, I noticed so much from that one preseason. I think I noticed so much from that one preseason game.
But from that angle too.
Exactly, because see the backboard angle, even though I'm thoroughly appreciative of the seats, I'm thoroughly appreciative to be able to get to go to games. The behind the backboard angle, literally one side of the court is being cut off. So there's certain spots on the court where you can't even see what's developing. Where we were sitting, it doesn't matter what side the Sparks are on or what side the other team is on, we can see everything. And it's a little small nuance, the super small nuance of the game when you're that close and from that angle. I think that you just mentioned that we can see that. I think would even help that would definitely help us out covering the game and reporting on the game and reporting it back to you guys.
Most definitely. So the LA Sparks training camp is officially over. Derek Fisher told us that today on Tuesday that training camp is over. And now Wednesday is decision day, and everything has to be turned in and finalized by Thursday. That is the deadline with the league to have your 12 roster in. So decision day is here. Might be some people towards the end of that roster that might need to start packing now. They may get to stay, but if I was them, I'd get a jump on packing.
I'm going to tell you who, just from, in my personal opinion, when I watched the game, I assumed Stephanie wasn't going to be on the team. No shade to Stephanie, but I just don't think she showed much, in my personal opinion. Jasmine Walker, she on the team.
Yeah, Jasmine Walker's getting playing time.
Jasmine Walker, I have a wild proclamation, but Jasmine Walker might be the second best player on this team by season ends.
I thought you was going to say Jasmine Walker was going to be the leading scorer on the team.
No. The thing about Jasmine is, even when Fish talked about her, is yes, she did look incredible from three. Like, it was amazing. First of all, her stroke, beautiful.
Right.
Her shot, beautiful. That's one thing I noticed even on draft day. When they drafted, I saw her shoot the ball. I was like, that's a good pick. Her stroke is beautiful, but she can play the 3 to the 5. So even when
she don't know about the 3, because I still need to see the handles. I haven't seen that.
That's the only thing. I didn't see her dribble and shoot. I didn't see her dribble much at all. But I think defensively, I think that she can stick with any wing in the league. And I think that if you want to go for some reason, go like a really big lineup, I think she can play the 3. I think she's probably best served at the 4 currently from what I've seen, but I think she can play the 3. And I mean, she can rebound. I think she had also 10 rebounds in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
She had 9. Yeah.
She had 9
She ended up with 23 points, 9 rebounds, 7 of 11 from 3.
So it's not just like she just shot the ball. She also provided defensive rebounding for this team as well. So I honestly think Jasmine Walker could arguably be the second best player on this team by season's end. And I love what NECA said about her a lot. The fact that she went and studied her teammates beforehand, like, to me, that just shows, okay, I'm coming in to work.
The only problem with Jasmine Walker being the second best player on the team is that would make a lot of the lineup shorter, because then that would be her and NECA out there a lot more together. And I don't think, I know we didn't get to see it with Amanda Zowie B or even with Chanae, but I think the Sparks will benefit, especially from Zowie B. They will benefit from the 6'5" height of Zowie B on the floor next to NECA. Because asking NECA to do everything inside against Liz Cambage the whole game, you can't do that.
That was one concern I had watching the team, and I tweeted it out, and somebody texted me like, "Oh, Shanae isn't playing, and Zaire B isn't playing." I'm like, I understand that, but even from I don't think that Shanae is a rim protector. Personally, I think that she is energy. I think that she can rebound. I don't necessarily think of her as a rim protector. So I think
she's not a rim protector. I think she's a defender.
Yeah, but
she's a voracious defender.
You know what I'm saying is I think Zaire B, to your point, is very, very important for the team. That's why I said she needs to be one of the best help defenders in the league. Because asking NECA, who's still 6'2", not great, they're not going to play Liz Cambage and Asia Wilson every night. So
right,
even like just looking at it, it's like you're playing Liz. You're not going to play them every night, but if you're trying to get to where you want to go, you might have to run up against a Jonquel Jones. You might have to run up against a Liz Cambage. Those are the people who you're going to be facing when you get to that
about a quarter to a third of the league have a significant height advantage over them.
Exactly.
Jonquel Jones, Liz Cambage, Brittany Griner, and I guess you could say Tierra McCowan on the Fever, but they can overcome that because it's the Fever.
Yeah.
But those are three teams.
I feel you. Yes. You're right. You're right.
I see what the Fever are trying to do, but they have to show us that they can do it.
Yes.
They got to have the people who can stretch the floor and shoot three. And last season was not their best showing. And so they drafted Kaiser, who could shoot the three. They got Mitchell, who could shoot the three. Hopefully Lauren Cox can step out and shoot. So, they're trying. But, that's neither here nor there. But, yeah, they're just – so, yes, most of the teams don't have that height. But the teams I named, those are teams that you can pencil into the playoffs. Those are playoff caliber, if not championship competing level teams. Because if the Mercury get it together, the Mercury ran out Skylar, Diana, Kia Nurse, Brittany Griner, and Brianna Turner. Brianna Turner. Come on now. They got and the 6'1" Bria Hartley. So they got a squad now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
they got a squad now. Now it's 6 people. And then they got it's
maybe 6 people and 1 basketball. So that's a little bit of thing that you got to figure out. But they do have.
But everybody doesn't play every game for various reasons, whether it's overseas duties or Olympic team or whatever. But all I'm saying is they got a squad and they got height.
Now
same thing with the Sun. They got Jonquel Jones, and they don't have Alyssa Thomas, but they got height.
Jonquel Jones is enough. I remember Jonquel
and
Jones.
Brianna Jones is huge too.
I remember when Jonquel Jones came to multiple times and was a part of the reason they got out rebounded 45-27, which should never happen. Which should never happen. But yes, I do think interior defense could possibly be a problem for the Sparks, but I think they can overcome that with their perimeter defense. I think that the Sparks can still be did you have a
Oh, no, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I still think the Sparks can be a really, really top tier defensive team because I think that the ball pressure that their guards and wings can apply to other teams' guards can even make the bigs have to get the ball in places they aren't comfortable with getting the ball at because we just apply so much pressure to the guards coming up the court.
All right. First of all, shout out to Coach T. We appreciate you. But this is my thing. And it is looking like NECA is going to step into the role that Candace Parker played last year. It's looking like NECA will be in those positions. But I think for NECA to be effective, she must have the 6'5" Zaire B. She must have the sometimes 6'4", depending on the day, Chinea Gumake. She needs that height next to her, or even the 6'4" Maria Vadiva when she comes. She needs that height next to her to just give her that. Yeah, because that's why Candace was so great last year. Not only because of the things they asked her to do in the position they put her in, but she's a long 6'4".
Yeah. She's
not a short 6'4". And NECA is a long 6'2", but she's 6'2".
6'2".
She's never going to be taller than 6'2".
Like, it was times last weekend when I'm like, yo, you just need some help. Like, you already turned them, but
Right.
you need
But
somebody
the
else to
help
come over and
literally
help
didn't
you pick
play.
it up.
But the help
Exactly,
but the good thing
exactly.
for the Sparks is
The help didn't play.
listen who didn't play. Zowie B didn't play. Chrissy Tolliver didn't play. Janae Gumake didn't play. Simone Augustus didn't play. Arilla Garantes didn't play. Maria Vadiva didn't play. Pretty much everybody I named will most likely be on this final roster of the 12. Half the team that's going to be on the roster didn't even play.
Yeah.
At least 5 of them, if not 6. And they still tied 85-85.
Which is why I didn't want to overreact too much to like the interior defense, because like I said, they're not gonna play this.
I had no reaction to it other than she needs somebody else taller than her playing with her.
I had a reaction to it, but again, like I said, they have Zowie B, who's 6'5", and I think that but I think I said this like 2 months ago. I think she'll be one of the most important pieces for this team defensively because of her height.
And also remember, that was NECA's first game playing. She didn't play in the scrimmage.
Yeah.
That was her first time playing. So, the fact that Chrissy Tolliver hasn't played at all during the preseason, Simone Augustus hasn't played at all during the preseason. I think Chanae played once, Zowie B played once, NECA played once. Like, I think they did well to survive training camp with essentially no injuries.
Yeah.
And the Sparks had a full training camp pretty much the whole time. Yes, Vadiva wasn't here. And yes, Arilla didn't come over, but they had a legit 14 people in camp the whole time that had a chance to make this roster. It wasn't like some of those other teams that have 20 people in camp and then people are there for 2 or 3 days and then they get cut because they're waiting on people to come from overseas.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool if you invite me to a WNBA camp and I just get to be there for a couple of days, I'll take that opportunity, but that's not helping your team be better.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what chance
do they really have?
Does the 18th person on the roster really have to make a 12-person roster?
Yes.
Or even make an 11-person roster on some of these teams?
Everybody that you saw.
And one of these teams is going to be a 10-person roster, essentially. Because the Connecticut Sun have to pay Thomas.
Who's not playing this year. Everybody that you saw on the court outside of at least that I saw in the game that I was at on the court outside of Stephanie, I'm like, there is a legitimate reason for you to make this team. Nina Coffey, she balled out. Bria Holmes, she balled out. Christine, we always saw what Christine can bring to this team from what she did last year. Right. Everybody that was there had a legitimate chance to make this team. And I think Fish has some really, 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 really tough decisions. If I could ask you, who do you think, I'm pretty sure we know who like the first 8 is, but what do you think the final 12 woman roster should be?
Well, before I talk about the final 4, I think you do have to establish the first 8. And so if I go to, shout out to Her Hoop Stats, I think the first 5 obviously are the protected veteran contracts. The highest paid players on the team are NECA and Chrissy Tolliver. They're on the team. Erica Wheeler, she's on the team. Amanda Zowie B, she's on the team. And Chinea Gumake. All 5 of them have protected contracts. They're on the team. It makes no sense to cut them because you literally would be cutting them and they still would be getting this money. So they're on the team. 6, Brittany Sykes. No, she doesn't have a protected contract, but she's on the team. She's a starter. So I just mentioned 5 people right there who have protected contracts, but Brittany Sykes is going to start over one of them. Okay? So that's 6. Jasmine Walker has elevated herself to my 7th person.
She on that team.
She is my 7th person now because of the way she showed out. And she is a shooter. What do we always talk about? Or what do I always talk about? I want 3-point shots and layups. Yeah. What did Jasmine Walker do? Jasmine Walker took 13 shots. 11 of them were threes. Is that going to happen every game? No, because, teams are probably going to start closing out a little bit more. But so she's 7. My 8th player on my team is Sydney Weiss. Sydney Weiss is on my team. I like her contract for the next 2 years. It is very affordable at $80,000 in 2021 and $82,000 in 2022. That was one thing that Fisher talked about today is you have to put these rosters in mind, not for this year, but for the next year and the next year after that. And when you're putting together rosters like this, you have to have some of these contracts that are slotting in that are making it easier to carry some of the people at the top, some of those higher salaries, those protected salaries. So I'm at 8, right? So now, not saying that she's fringe, but my 9th person would be Taya Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm at 9, right?
Yep.
My 10th person would be Simone Augustus, because I don't think there's a situation. I don't think there's any way that she's not on the team, because Simone Augustus literally didn't play in either one of them games, and she definitely didn't play in the official preseason game. You're not telling me that you're going to let Simone Augustus come here and then she doesn't even get a chance to play in the preseason if her position was really up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 10.
I'll tell you who my last 2 are.
Okay, go ahead.
After what I saw, and just from what, even when I asked Fish about the balance on the roster, and then even from,
So you agree on the first 10 with me?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear your last 2. I might have a different last 2 than you.
I'm gonna go Nina and Bria Holmes.
Nia Coffey and Bria Holmes?
Yes, Nia Coffey and Bria Holmes. I think that they showed the most. And I think it fits along the lines of what Fish wants to do. He wants to be versatile. He wants to have players that can play multiple positions. I'm going those 2.
See, I feel you, but no, because if you put Maria Vadiva on your team and you put Arilla Garantes on your team, you control their rights at a lower salary for the next year.
Oh, that's fair.
Because Vadiva, you'll get her for 2 more years, basically at this bare minimum.
Oh, wait, hold on, real quick.
You're going to control Arilla Garantes' contract for 4 years on a rookie scale. And she was a second-round pick.
Wait, my bad. You didn't say Maria in the first 10?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, my bad. Maria on the team.
So that's 11.
So that's 11.
So now it comes down to this. So this is the question. So if that is the 11, for your 12th person, you have to decide whether you want Nia Coffey, Bria Holmes, Arilla Garantes, or Christina Nigwe. Those are your options for your 12th person.
How old is Arilla?
I believe she's 24. 23 or 24. You get to control her contract for 4 years.
Yeah,
rookie scale. Yeah, see, because this is the thing. Bria Holmes and Coffey, they are so much of vets that right now they are on the vet minimum. In this league, if you are a veteran, your minimum contract has to be $70,000. And if either one of them play better, you would think that they would be worth more money next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
you're right.
Arilla's contract won't be as high as theirs until her 4th year.
You're right.
So
you're right.
If I'm filling out this roster,
you're right.
And I wish there was a way for Nia Coffey or Bria Holmes to make this roster, especially Nia Coffey. I think she did everything they asked her to do.
Everything correctly.
Everything they asked her to do. She started at the 4. She even played the 4, kind of how we had Simone Augustus playing small ball 4 last year. Except Nia Coffey's slightly bigger. When Nia Coffey stands next to Bria Holmes, they look the same height. Bria Holmes is listed at 6'3". Coffey is listed at 6'1". This is the only thing. And so I got this nugget from Derek Fisher as well. So to make sure that you control the rights to Maria Vadiva, and if you want her to play at any time this season, she must be one of the 12 on the opening day roster. Okay? Even though they're not expecting her to play until after the Olympic break, she has to be on the roster. And maybe there's a possibility she can come a little bit before that, but she has to be on the roster because Maria Vadiva is technically not playing in the Olympics. So there might be a way you might be able to get her a game or two before, but probably not. But she has to be on the roster. So at that point, you're kind of just stuck.
Nah, you're right. I mean, for one,
because if you say Simone Augustus is a guaranteed on there, that's their spot. Keeping it real with you, that's Coffey or Holmes' spot is Augustus, because they all gonna make the same amount of money. But if you have to choose between Simone Augustus or Nia Coffey or Bria Holmes, you got to go with Simone Augustus. It just makes too much sense not to. You got somebody who can translate the message between coaches to players. Yes, Christy Tolliver can do that, but Christy Tolliver is going to be on the court a lot. You got somebody, Simone Augustus, who will be on the bench more than she will be on the court, if I'm being honest. And so she can be translating it that way. So you got somebody who's going to be on the floor, Christy Tolliver, and you got somebody who's going to be on the bench, Simone Augustus. So this is the other thing. So the other benefit to all of this is you will have this opening 12, but there will come a time in June where they will have a certain amount of money where they'll be able to afford to bring somebody in for 7 days to 10 days. That could be an opportunity for Coffey or Holmes or even Anigwe, whoever they need as a practice player or whoever they need on the roster right then for a game or two to come in and hit the ground running and contribute immediately. Because I think they're going to need to play deep onto the bench, especially if you start with Maria Vadeeva, you're already starting at 11. Even though you technically have a roster of 12, you're starting with an active 11. And so they're going to need to go deep on the roster because I asked Shanae Agumake, how's your fitness level? She was honest with me. She said, I don't know. I might be huffing and puffing their first game.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm gonna get better and I'm gonna compete and I will eventually get there. But in the beginning, if they play the pace that they want to play, Erica Wheeler pushing the ball, Tay Cooper pushing the ball, Chrissy Tolliver pushing the ball, they're gonna need some rotation there. Because if you got your guards pushing the ball, you're asking your wings to run, Brittany Sykes. And yeah, Brittany Sykes can play a lot of minutes, but do you really want her playing 35 minutes the first game or two? No, not if you can help it. Do you want Nneka Ogwumike playing 35 minutes the first game or two? No, not if you can help it. So that means all the way down, you're going to need a lot of minutes inside from Walker. You're going to need minutes from Zowie B. You're going to need minutes from Chanae. Like, it's going to be an opportunity for everybody to play. I even need minutes from Simone Augustus, like first game. Like, I can't have 10 active. I need everybody to play first game if I'm rolling with 12, essentially 11.
Yeah, I mean, number one, like you said, people's fitness levels obviously isn't there, and then also you need to preserve people. Like, it's a very long season. You need to preserve people. You saw what happened last year in the bubble in which you had so many injuries.
Right.
Also, I don't want to say you have a old team, but you have a older team. Like, Christy doesn't need to be playing 32 minutes. I think Nneka is 29, 30 years old. She doesn't need to be playing these minutes.
Nneka is 30.
30. You have people whose minutes you need to watch because they have played a lot of basketball. And also, it's just not that serious yet. Let's ease into the season. Let's give everybody a chance because, like you always say, you never know who you might need down the road. You don't want to stick somebody in there game 24 and they don't know what to do because they ain't played all season.
Right. Yeah, there's no point of that. Also, if I'm being honest, I know that Arilla Garantes, I asked Fisher about this. I know that Arilla Garantes has been playing this week, but she practiced Monday and Tuesday. There's a possibility, even if she's on this roster of 12, she may not really play in the first game. And if she does play, you can't expect her to play major minutes.
I also think that everybody on this roster should play because
so you kind of like 10 and a half players.
I also think that everybody on this roster should play a substantial, not substantial, but a quality role on this team because, again, like I said, you need to see what you got. And these are the players that Fish has picked. So everybody who is on this team, I assume he knows what their skill set is, and he brought them here. So I'm assuming if you did that, then that means that you are satisfied with what they bring to your system, so they should be able to contribute because you brought them here. So it shouldn't be nobody that you see at the end of the bench and you like, well, they dead because they don't fit the system. No, everybody should fit the system.
This is how you know there's enough playing time for 11 right now, because Bria Holmes played 18 minutes. Stephanie Watts played 15. Christina Nigwe played 15. And Nia Coffey played 21. And there's a possibility that none of them will make the final roster. And definitely not all of them. So that's minutes for Tolliver, Chanae, Zowie B, Augustus, and Garantes. And Girantes. There's minutes for all of them. So everybody's got to be ready to play, especially against a young team like Dallas. Now, I know Dallas won't have everybody right then. They won't have Satu Sabali at the beginning of the season. And I don't think Owak Kuye has come over yet. So they won't have everybody they want. But if I tell you one thing.
I do want to ask you a question, though. I do ask you, like, yes, they played the Dallas Wings game one. Obviously, looking at last season, I think we all expect Dallas to be better, but we don't look at Dallas as one of those teams that would be there in the end.
Right.
If you're the Sparks and you've heard the talk about you all season, losing Candace, losing Chelsea, who do you have coming up after that? You have the Aces, and then you have back-to-back games against the Sky. Do you think that the Sparks should be looking to send an early message out to the league? I personally think yes.
I think they need to be sending an early message to themselves.
That too.
Not necessarily to the league, but I think the Sparks, even the fact that they will have 11 out of 12 active, they will be deeper than most teams at the beginning of this season. Just off the strength of having that many players here who have been here for the whole training camp. A lot of these teams are bringing people over, or they're letting people go somewhere else and do things they have to do for their national teams. So in every game, they will have more active players at the beginning of this season. They have to use that to their advantage. That's what I'm saying. If this pace is going to be this pace and they're going to shoot all of these 3-pointers and they're going to run and they're going to defend, like, they're going to tire some teams out, especially the beginning of the season. So there's a possibility the first 4 games, I don't see why they shouldn't win 3 of them.
I agree. I think they should start off 4-0, personally.
And you said one of those games will be against the Aces again.
I think they should start off 4-0 personally. Like, again, when I look at
you think they should beat Dallas the first game, beat the Aces the second game, and beat the Sky twice in Chicago?
I mean, obviously, maybe
they not gonna win.
Look,
3 straight road games, but
maybe you drop a game to the Sky in Chicago just because it's very hard to beat a team back-to-back nights, personally. But when I look at this roster, I just think that this roster can really shock some people. I really like what I saw. I think that their defense will probably be ahead of their offense to start, but I don't think that's a bad thing because I think they had the potential to be one of the best, if not the best, defensive team in the league. My only question is their interior defense, but I only have that question because of what I saw.
Yeah, we haven't seen it.
Exactly. And I think their perimeter defense should be one of the best perimeter defensive teams in the league. Just when I look at the pieces they have, they can defend. Erica can defend. Brittany can hog people. Taya can as well. Right. I think that they can be one of the best perimeter defensive teams in the league for sure.
And they're the type of team, like, if somebody is not playing, that's not their night, they're not motivated, next. You literally just go to the next person. Like,
he said that as well, though.
You literally go to the next person and say, if you're not going to do one thing, dang for sure, you're going to play defense. Like, so everybody on this team is going to have to compete on defense, or you can just sit on the bench.
Because everybody can score. On this team, I don't think putting up points will be an issue for them.
No.
Everybody can score.
No, because they all have layup packages. They all can make layups, okay? And the majority of them all can shoot. I mean, Christina Nigwe was the only one who didn't attempt a 3-pointer in the preseason game.
I mean, when I look at this roster, I think everybody who will be on the team, outside of maybe like
Ariella, they all better shoot threes. Arella?
Arella. I think everybody could average like 12, 13 points.
Oh, you're saying in the right situation they all could average that much.
Yeah, I think everybody averaged 12, 13 points. So scoring,
but not in this situation, because I mean they only have enough
Yeah,
minutes.
I mean, obviously in this situation, no. But I'm saying, like, as far as I'm saying that to say scoring points should not be an issue, because I think everybody on this roster, if given the right situation, could score 12 to 13 points. Last year, I don't think that was the case. I think you had players that probably physically couldn't score 12 to 13 points. This year, when I look at this roster, I don't think there's anybody like that.
Yes, everybody on this roster has some level of offensive aggression to their game, whether it's the willingness to just keep shooting threes that Zowie B and Walker have, or Simone Augustus, she ain't afraid to shoot. Chrissy Tolliver, she's not afraid to shoot. So, yeah, no, you're right. Like, obviously, we know Sydney Weiss will pull it.
Yeah.
She gets the ball, it's open, she will shoot.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So that's the other thing, too, is like Derek Fisher is saying, like, yes, I want them to shoot. And earlier on in training camp, he's like, I want it to sometimes be a shot taken in the first 7-8 seconds. But then on the other side, he'll say, but, they have to show me and earn the right to shoot three, which, I mean, he kind of contradicted himself a little bit. He's like, well, either you want me to shoot the three, but how do I show you I've earned the right to shoot three? I either shoot it or I don't.
Right shot. Like, just if it's open, shoot the ball.
So if it's open, shoot the ball, but don't force it.
Yeah, like, I think personally, now granted, I can't
unless you Chrissy Tolliver with the step back package.
Yeah, I can't speak for him, but I think what he was saying is like take the right shots, play the right way, and take the right shots. Don't go out there trying to play hero ball. Just take the right shots. Just move the ball, get everybody involved, make sure everybody touches it, and if you have a shot that's open within the first 7 seconds, shoot it. But also, I think earning the right to shoot also depends on the defense you play. I think if you defend, then I don't have an issue. Even if you defend at a high level, and even you maybe take a shot that maybe you shouldn't take, but you defending at like a high level, I may not have as much of an issue with that because of what you're giving me on the other end. You've earned the right to shoot that shot because you're working that hard on that end.
Okay.
I can't speak for him, but I think a combination of those two things is what he means. Like, don't just go out there and take 10 3. Like, what are you doing? But
the only person on this team that needs to be taking 10 threes is Jasmine Walker.
But even with the threes that she took, she was hustling on the other end. She was rebounding the ball, and I didn't see her take any bad shots.
Yes, right. No, you're right. Okay, I understand what you're saying. She earned the right to take those threes.
Actually, even with Jasmine, she should have shot more. It was times when she made back-to-back. I'm like, heat check it. You just made 3, shoot more.
Nah, bro. She can't take like 20 shots a game.
I mean, obviously she can't, but there were certain times in that game, like maybe like a shot or two in which she got the ball. But to me, that shows patience. Like, I'm on fire. And I'm still like, you know what? No, let me do that. If she would have shot that ball in some of those scenarios, I wouldn't have had an issue with it.
But this brings up a point that Brittany Sykes made. She said that, the way she likes to play defense is analytical. And she wants to know where you want the ball. And so she will make it hard for you to not get the ball there and force you to places where you don't want to shoot. That's something that could easily happen to Jasmine Walker because you saw where she liked to shoot those threes from.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to adapt because if we know where she likes to shoot threes from, the other teams will know where she likes to shoot threes from too. We're not, some secret society where only we know what the Sparks do.
I feel like a lot of that was off pick and pop. And then also that's why, like we both said, I haven't seen her dribble and shoot. Like, I do need to see what she looks like when she puts the ball on the floor. But I do think a lot of that was off pick and pop, which I think can consistently be successful, honestly. Like, because a lot of that you would have to switch if you go like underneath. And then she has a very quick release. Like, I honestly think some of the times she got those shots off because she just shot the ball so fast. She got it, didn't hesitate, and got it up. So I think some of those looks, especially when you think about the guards that they have that can put pressure on the defense and suck people in, I think she can get a lot of those looks consistently throughout the season.
Here's my question for you. Who do you think will be the starting 5? Because Dave Fisher has not tipped his hand because he has not played anything close to what will be the starting 5 in preseason, whether it's a scrimmage or the official game.
I think the starting 5 will probably end up being like I've said before, Okay, wait. Do you want it to be? Do you want me to say what I think it should be, or what I think it will be? Because what I think it should be and will be is two different concepts.
I want both answers.
What I think it should be is Erica Wheeler, Chrissy Tolliver, Brittany Sykes, NECA, and Zowie. That's what I think it should be. What I think it will be Erica, Chrissy Tolliver, Brittany, Shanae, and NECA.
Okay. I think it will be what you said it will be. And I also think that's what it should be.
That's fair.
Because I think that Shanae needs to start. Because especially if she says she's working herself back into game shape fitness, she might only be out there for 3-4 minutes.
That's fair.
And then it's Zowie B right there. But just in the beginning of the game, just to get those juices flowing. And then also that way, Zowie B allows you a change of pace. You bring in Shanae, that's not a change of pace from Zowie B. If you understand what I'm saying, you don't change the game defensively by putting Shanae Ogwumike in after Zowie B is in. Zowie B is the one who you said is the only one who is the shot blocker, is the only one that is the true interior paint defender with size and height. So she's the only one that can be the switcheroo. It's like when you got lefties batting, or it's like when you got a lefty pitching, you have a lefty pinch hit. Like she's the only pinch hitter off the bench. Defensively inside. Everybody else just basketball players.
I feel you. I'm just a component of having space on the court personally, but
I think you will be pleasantly surprised with the space that Shanae Ogwumike is going to provide on the court.
We'll see.
We haven't seen it, but I'm taking her at her word and I'm taking Derek Fisher at his word that between the two of them, Shanae Ogwumike has been challenged to shoot 3 threes a game. So if she's going to be out there and she's actually going to be willing to pull it, I think you'll get the spacing you want. And even if she makes one out of those 3 a game, that's enough to start.
No, it's fair. If she can make a 3 a game, 2 threes a game, it's beautiful. It's incredible.
Now you saw NECA was pulling from 3.
Yeah, I thought she. How many did she? I don't have the stats right in front of me. How many did she shoot in that day?
She took 3.
Okay, that's fair. That's enough.
She took 3.
That's enough.
But the position where I would see her more on the court would be more where Nia Coffey was positionally, and Nia Coffey took 6.
I don't know if I want to take 6, but I don't know if I want to take 6.
Look, all right. This may be unrealistic, but the team took 31 threes. I think 31 threes as a team is realistic.
That's solid.
I'm going to do some quick maths, and I'm going to try to get to 30, essentially. I want Brittany Sykes taking about 3 of them. I want NECA taking 5 of them.
You want NECA taking more?
You heard me. Yes, I want NECA taking 5 of them. I want Zowie B taking 5 of them. That's 13 already in my starting line or your starting lineup. I want Chrissy Tolliver taking 5 of them. That's what, 18. I want Erica Wheeler taking 4 of them. That's 22. And then the bench, between whoever's on the bench, I want them taking like 10.
I probably would have raised Christie's and Brittany's a little bit, but I don't, and maybe Zowie, depending on her minutes.
Now, it depends on the game. Like, there's going to be some games where Zowie take 10.
Yeah.
And she makes 6 of them, and we're just sitting there like, wow, she shot 60% for 3.
Yeah. But again, that's also why I want her to start. I'm just a component of the space on the court and also of the initial rim protection that she can add while starting. And I think NECA coming off the bench, not NECA, Shanae coming off the bench is actually almost unfair because I think she'll be better than most of any centers that she might line up with off the bench. And I think her energy will be too much for a lot of the centers that will be coming off the bench. So I personally would just go with it like that.
I agree with you, but I'm just going off of what I saw.
Now, again, I'm pretty sure they're both going to start. I told you what I think the starting lineup will be and what it should be.
Regardless of what it is or what it should be, there will be an opportunity for both of them to start at some point in this season.
There'll be changes.
At some point in this season, they'll probably start together.
Yeah.
At some point in the season, Nneka might not even play a game.
Yeah. And again, there'll be changes. Obviously, I don't think,
at some point in this season, Chrissy Tolliver might not play a game.
Yeah, like I don't think these people are going to go out there and play the full season. So I'm sure there'll be different lineup combinations, and we'll see. And these lineups will have a chance to prove if this should be the starting lineup. So we'll see. But
you know what else? You know what else could be an interesting lineup? An interesting lineup could also be Chrissy Tolliver, Brittany Sykes, Sydney Weiss, Nneka, and Zowie B.
I like that lineup.
Now that's a lineup that's gonna pull it.
I like that lineup a lot.
And that gets Brittany Sykes in the backcourt. Because that's the only thing is I know she's 5'9", and I know she's got this large wingspan and she can play the wing.
She's a backcourt player.
But I would love to see her in the backcourt because she's guarding the backcourt.
Yeah.
When they play Dallas, she's gonna be guarding Enrique. She's not gonna be guarding the wing.
Yeah. I think she's a guard that can play the wing, but I really think
but they basically playing 3-guard lineup. So I mean, exactly. It is what it is.
But again, also, this is why I want to commend and why I've said it since I don't know, like February about the balance on this roster. I think it's a very balanced team. They have so many lineup combinations, and that's why I also think that they will shock a lot of people this season because I think this is the best constructed roster that I have seen in my time covering the Sparks.
And let me tell you this, Pav, before we start to wrap up. So, as good as we've seen Jasmine Walker to be, there are plenty of people before this draft that would have told us that Arilla Gidantes was significantly better than Jasmine Walker. If somehow that is possible on this team, there is no way they're not making playoffs.
They'll make the playoffs.
There is no way they're not making the playoffs if there is some way for Arilla Gidantes to be better than Jasmine Walker.
I think that regardless, outside, I think we need to stop talking about just making the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, I'll be disappointed in this team. That's a failure.
Well, I'm just talking about what the people were saying, because Candace Parker was gone and Chelsea Gray was gone and Raquan Williams was gone, that the Sparks was going to be the worst team. They was going to be the 13th best team in the 12-team league. Yeah, that's how people was talking. They was going to be the 13th best team in the 12-team league. That's not even possible.
Yes, but I think that the star power of those two overshadows what they actually had on the roster. I think the star power of those two and people's dislike for Fish for no reason, for things that have nothing to do with basketball, overpowers their actual looking at this roster. If this team doesn't make the playoffs, it's a failure.
Nneka is a top 10 player in this league.
Listen, you have a former MVP on this team.
Right.
You have Chrissy Tolliver on this team.
Top 25 player.
You have Erica Wheeler, who was an all-star last time they had an all-star game on this team. You have Shanae, who is now back, who was an all-star as well.
Yes, more than once.
If you don't make the playoffs, that is a failure. I think we need to start talking about, can they get to the second round? Can they get to the finals? That's what I want to start talking about for this team. The playoffs, they just borderline. They better make the playoffs.
This is the thing about this team. The way it is currently constructed, and especially if they go ahead and figure out the Gabby Williams, shout out to Gabby Williams, new member of the Sparks. If they figure out the extension for her, this team is pretty much set for 2 years. Nneka's under a 2-year contract. Chrissy Tolliver's under a 2-year contract. Wheeler's under a 2-year contract. Zowie B's under 2 year. Chanae's under 2 year. Sykes is under 2 year. Weiss is under 2 year. Walker, they got her for 4 years. Garantes, they got her for 4 years. Taya Cooper, they got her for a couple more years. Vadiva got her for a couple more years. Like, this team, if they are successful in 2021, they can just carry that to 2022, synergy-wise, and there will be essentially no disruption. They could literally bring back 11 of 12 players that played in 2021. I mean, if they really wanted to, they could bring back 12 of 12. They probably won't do that. Nobody ever brings back the same exact roster.
But like they could if they wanted to.
But there's no reason that if this team is successful in 2021, that they don't have 10 or 11 of the same players and bring back that synergy. And if they play at the pace they want to play at, everybody will get to play. And people will, they'll manage where people take rest games and stuff like that, load management. People will get opportunities. Sounds like practice is great. Sounds like scrimmaging is great. So they're getting work there. Because the first season we covered the team, they couldn't even do 5-on-5.
Yeah, they could have had so many injuries.
They couldn't even do 5-on-5 for a lot of the season.
They had to bring in practice players, which is cool, but at the same time,
right.
No.
And you cannot bring in practice players this season.
Because of COVID.
Because there's this thing called COVID.
Yeah.
There's still a thing.
Still a thing. But yeah, I'm really excited to see this season. Like, I really think that this team is going to shock. I know I said that like 900 times.
Okay, so this is my question now. So if you're going to play a 32-game season, do you think they can make it to 20 wins now?
I think I said they're going to make 20 wins at first. I don't think I ever say anything less than 20 wins.
I thought we said did we say 20 and 12?
I think we said 20 and 12.
I thought we said 18 and 14.
No way we said
No. I think we said 20 and 14 based on a 34-game season, but it's a 32-game season. So in a 32-game season, do you think they can get to 20 wins?
Yeah, barring injury, as long as everybody stays healthy.
So they're going to win 2 out of 3 games, essentially.
Yeah. Okay, I think they can. Why? Again, I mean, depending on how many games.
Russell Westbrook, why not?
Yeah, yes. Depending on how many games Neca miss and depending on injury, obviously, Christy, she's older, maintenance and things like that, depending on how many games people miss. But I'm looking at this as them having a healthy season. I think they should win 20 games. And then even still, they won 20 games with worse 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. They had half the team going most of the time they was winning games.
Well, if they win 20 games, you might as well pencil them in for essentially top 4.
I don't think that they shouldn't be that.
Then if they make top 4, everybody who's talking all this stuff, they need to say they're sorry.
Again, I think the star power
they need to say my bad.
I think the star power of Candace and Chelsea led people to think what they think about that roster, but not actually examining the actual roster.
This is my question. Okay, this is my question for you then. If you had your choice of 11 players on this roster and you could still have Candace Parker to make 12, would you think the team would be better? You had everybody else you want. You got 11 of the 12. So you basically pick everybody you want, but one person, and you just put Candace Parker in. Is the team better?
I think that this is how I'm going to answer this question. I think that not having Candace, because also I have to see how she plays in Chicago. People go into different situations and play different ways. But I think the way that she played, at least the way I saw her play last year, when she has the ball, she takes other people and puts them in different positions, right? So if you are a center, but you're on offense and you're basically playing a point guard spot, now you're taking your guards and you put them at wing positions. So I'm not saying that they would be better or worse. I just think the team dynamic changes a little bit. Also, I think Candace is she holds the ball. I don't think anybody on this team, I don't think they have any ball pounders. Taya pounds the ball a little bit, but outside of that, I don't think they have any real ball pounders, I don't think, on this team this year. Candace was somebody who held the ball a lot. Obviously, you got great results when she did it because she's one of the best at doing what she does, but she still held the ball a lot. I think you'll have more synergy and more movement this season, but I don't think they would be better or worse. I think the team would just be different. I don't think Fish would be able to run his system the same way he wanted to run it with Candace. That's how I answer that.
If I could answer my own question, if I could have 11 of these 12 players and then just plug in Candace Parker on this roster and magically I make the salary cap work somehow, I would say the team would be better because with the caveat of I have all of these guards that I didn't have last year. I still have Erica Wheeler. I still have Chrissy Tolliver. I'm saying that there's no Chelsea Gray. And you got guards like that. Like that's literally what they do is run and gun. Like they would have to do that if Candace Parker was here, or there would literally be no point of Christy Tolliver. There would be no point of Erica Wheeler. So I think the team could be better if they had everybody else plus Candace Parker. If I can ask you the same question, if there was no Candace Parker, you have 11 of 12 on this team and Chelsea Gray. Would the team be better?
Not if she's going to shoot the ball the way she shot the ball last year.
I agree with that. I agree with that because she's so good with the ball
that you want her to have the ball.
You don't take her off the ball.
Exactly.
And unless you can get playground Chelsea Gray, where they're going to go up and down the court and just run and gun 3 out of 4 possessions, you make the team slower. You have less possessions, and I don't think that makes the team better.
I think she's best being used, honestly, kind of like how you use Harden. If you have her on the team, you give her the ball.
Make the whole team around her.
Yeah, like you've got on the team. Like she's so good. She's one of the best isolation players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
She can get. I think she still shoots what I think was 80% for the free throw line.
You're close to 90. Yeah, she's an amazing free throw shooter. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, but she knows how to get to the line.
Yeah.
She's a great penetrator. Her handle is great. She could pass. I think if you have her on your team, you give her the ball and let her command the entire offense.
I have a question. Why do you think she's such a great free throw shooter, yet her 3-point shot is unorthodox?
It's a longer shot, and also it's a lot of times off the dribble.
Okay.
Like it's hard to do all those moves and then bring it up and get it up. As opposed to you just get the ball, you sitting there, nobody, you just
right.
It's hard. And also, she's actually, to me, I think she's honestly a better 3-point shooter when she moves back some.
The way she shoots, yes. Her rainbows are better from far away.
Yeah, like she's better when she moves
back. She's a deep 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
And we probably could pull up the statistics to back that up if we really wanted to get into the synergy and the shot charts and stuff like that. But yes, she's a really good deep ball shooter. And I guess I'll ask for the other 2 players who are not on the team who were core members last year. Would the team be better if Raquana Williams was coming off the bench with all you got going on here?
Not really.
I don't think so. And with that in mind, like, yeah, I don't. It's unfortunate that, there are reports that the Sparks never offered her a contract, but I can understand why if, you're going to have this backcourt of Wheeler and Tolliver and interchange that with Taya Cooper. And then you got Brittany Sykes to pull into the backcourt too, and Sydney Weiss. Got enough.
I think that they wanted to do something different. I think they wanted less isolation. Like I don't think anybody on this team really needs to dribble the ball more than 2 times.
Yeah, but you know what though? That's the thing. And even TRP, I'm really looking forward to this season and I want to see this faster pace, this run and gun. But I just don't know why the previous players couldn't play that way. Like if they were in an open gym, Raquana Williams is going to be getting up and down the court. If they were in an open gym, Chelsea Gray is going to be getting up and down the court. Same thing for Candace Parker, and same thing for TRP.
Because they're going to dribble a lot to get into their
offense. Why couldn't they do that last year?
They're going to dribble a lot to get into their offense.
But why? If we were playing open gym, they wouldn't be doing that.
Yes, they would. Chelsea Gray would be putting.
She would not be dribbling to get in no offense. She'd be out there hooping.
Okay. Yeah, she gonna come down, bink, 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 go to the rim. She definitely
okay. She is
gonna do the same thing. Candace's gonna do the same thing.
I think Raquana take it straight to the cup. In an open gym, she either gonna pull up for the 3 or she gonna take it straight to the cup. Hard. I think Raquana could have did it.
But then there goes
and I've seen TRP play open gym. Like that's how she plays open gym.
But
yeah, she takes a little bit to get into the rhythm, but like that's what she's comfortable doing, like taking it to the rack.
But then there goes back to the point of like how interchangeable is Raquana on this roster. Like she's 5'8", So it's like I think they wanted people who could play like the 1, but then move up to like the 3 or go and do things like that. So I think that's why she wasn't offered a contract. Personally.
Especially when 3 of your guards can only play 2 positions at best. And like, yeah, technically Christy Tolliver is at that level where she's a master basketball player where you could put her on the wing and she could play the 3 just because she knows how to play every single position, but you're still giving yourself a disadvantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
But again, I just want one more time. I just like the way this team is constructed. It's no shade to anybody who isn't there. I think all of them had moments in which they were incredible. Clearly, I thought Chelsea Gray was one of the best players in the league 2019. Candace Parker was probably outside of Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson, the best player in the league last season. I just think that this was about giving Fisher the type of team that he wants. If you're going to hire the man and you're going to make the man general manager, if you're going to hire the man, then you got to let him rock with his horses.
Yeah. If I'm Chelsea Gray, I'm trying to get 10 assists a game. I'm not even worried about my shot.
I feel like when I watched her, she really wasn't even shooting the ball.
She wasn't, but what she was doing wasn't leading to assists either.
I mean, I think a lot of that's because like they gonna dribble.
I know Liz was getting fouled, and I know that they like to dribble to get their rhythm. But if I'm her, I'm trying to figure out how to get my bigs buckets without them having to dribble. If she can figure that out, if she can get to a point where Asia and Liz, they literally just making layups, Ace is good. The Aces will check a box to the semifinal, and then from there we'll see what happens.
I think just in general there would be a lot of interesting watches around the league. Like Phoenix, I forgot Kia went to Phoenix.
Right.
I think that's an interesting watch. I think the Aces are obviously interesting watch. The Sky, like I wonder how some of these teams play with their new pieces, and like I wonder if some of these pieces will change their games a little bit to fit with their new places.
The other thing, just like we're saying about the Sparks, Derek Fisher said that, the players have said that, you and I have said that. Not only is it going to take time for the Sparks, but it's going to take time for the Aces to get used to Chelsea Gray passes. It's going to take time for the Sky to get used to playing with Candace Parker, who knows where everybody should be on the court, and she going to look at you sideways if you're not doing what she thinks you should have done.
It's also going to be interesting because Vandersloot is so used to having the ball.
Right. Vandersloot technically averaged 10 assists last year.
Like she averaged 10 assists. So it's like, do you completely take the ball? Like, do you now split time?
I think you split it via rotation.
Then
I think when Sloot is out, then you say, all right, Candace, it's your time. But Candace has got to defer. She got to defer to her point guard.
But then also last year, Diamond really wasn't there.
Not at all.
Right. And I think
not at all.
Like I want her to have the ball too. I don't want her just standing there just waiting to, get a pass.
I am on the record with saying that the Sky had too many players. They had too many rotational pieces, and Gabby Williams removes one. But I still think they may have too many rotational players. Too many players who are starter level players.
Yeah.
They got about 8 or 9 starters on their team.
Who are deserving of the basketball.
Right.
On top of that.
8 or 9 starters and 8 or 9 offensive starters too.
Yeah.
People who they just don't start because of defense.
Yeah.
They're not just like this amazing defender. Like they start because they're all around really good basketball player that could be. This is my thing. They got about 2 number 1 options and about 6 number 2 options. And like, how are you going to manage that?
Yeah. So I think it looks great.
James Wade, if you figure that out, let me know.
Yeah,
how are you going to manage 6 number 2 options?
Yeah, like I think
don't give me it can be anybody's night. Nah.
It can't be though. Like
right.
These
so don't give me that.
Really can't be like it
can't.
It's like things got to run through somebody.
Mm-hmm.
people have to know what their role is on the team. But again, that's why I think this season will be very interesting. This is also why I think the Sparks will shock some people.
Especially in the beginning. Now,
yeah,
the Sky could figure it all out after the Olympic break, and as long as they're in the playoffs, make a run and do what they need to do. But in the beginning, it's going to take some work.
Again, also
I do not envy them. I do not envy the Sky.
I also just think the Sparks have players that will actually play their position. Like we know NECA is probably the center or the power forward, whatever it is. That's what she gonna play. Right. She gonna play power forward. We know Zowie is gonna be a stretch big. She's gonna be a stretch center. We know we know Chanae most likely is gonna be playing center. She gonna be an actual center. We know Christy gonna be a guard. She's gonna be a guard. Erica's gonna be a guard. She's gonna be a guard. Brittany is gonna be a wing, a guard, but like it's kind of the same thing. Many times, like Taya is going to be a point guard. She's not going to be a 2 guard. She's going to be the point guard off the bench that comes in and try to just studies the game. You know, she's going to play the consummate backup point guard role. If I gave you a 6-point lead, when I take you out, do not hand me back down 8. If I give you a 6-point lead, give me a 4-point lead or give me a 10-point lead. I think that's what she'll do. I just think that their roster makes sense.
And everybody you named is a ball handler too.
Yeah.
Even Sykes can handle the ball. Sykes has a nice handle.
She
can handle the ball. She's comfortable with the ball. Sydney Weiss is clearly, we've been watching her for 3 years now. She's clearly comfortable bringing the ball up the court. You're not going to bother Sydney Weiss bringing the ball up the court. You may not love her, but they do, and she can bring the ball up the court. So that's not an issue. And it's not a have Sydney Weiss play point guard and do it every single time. But it's just the point of this time I get to come up the court and not have to worry about bringing the ball up the court. That is a relief. That was a relief in 2019 to Chelsea Gray. And that was the relief that Christy Tolliver was going to provide in 2020, which didn't happen for the document reasons of her opting out of the Wubble, which was her right.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen anybody opt out of this season. Obviously, we have some people who are coming from overseas and on various teams. We have some people who are still recovering from injuries, but pretty much everybody, barring like Gabby Williams and possibly Emma Mieseman and maybe like Julie Aleman, like barring like a couple players, like everybody else about to play. At some point in the season, especially after the Olympics, barring injuries, everybody will be out there hooping. That August and September, that's going to be fire because the whole world's eyes will be on the WNBA because they will have just watched Team USA win gold. I'm going to go ahead and claim it now, write it down, book it.
I hope we win.
I don't even care what 12 they put on. Now, I can't speak for the men's team, but I can speak for the women's team. They're going to win gold because they're going to have players like NECA and Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart and maybe Deladon if she's healthy and Skylar Diggins if she makes the roster, Chelsea Gray. Like, they're about to have ballers. Brittany Griner if she wants to play.
In basketball, men and women's, we should always consistently win gold, and if we don't, it is a disappointment. This is America. This is America. Because one thing we do is play basketball.
Look, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to guarantee 3 golds right now. Men's basketball, women's basketball, and the USA track and field men's 4x1.
We that good?
4x4 too.
We that good?
If those 4 events, yes. Should be. If those 4 events don't win gold, something's wrong.
I'll take your word for it.
If we don't win gold in those relays, it's because we ain't show up.
Take your word for it.
Or we drop the stick like they like to do. But that's another conversation.
Yeah. But let's get ready to wrap it up. I'm like I said, I'm excited for the season. Next time we reconvene with you guys, there will be actual for real WNBA basketball play that we can discuss and talk about. And yeah, man, last words, John.
Yeah, we can also discuss this 12 roster because this will be interesting. This will show if Derek Fisher is really committed to not only thinking about today, tomorrow, next month, but also next year and the year after, or if he's like, man, I got to win right now. Because if he feels like he has to win right now, this roster may look a little different.
Yeah.
Because when we first went down this, you were like, I want Nia Coffey and Bria Holmes on my roster.
Okay. The thing is, I thought you said Maria within the
No, I'm saying that's valid.
Okay.
I have no problem with that. I'm not against anybody who wants to tell me Nia Coffey should be on this roster. I wish she could. And if there's some magic way she can be, let it happen. I don't know if it can happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it will happen, but it dang sure wasn't going to happen when Stephanie Watts was still in the mix. What does it look like you cutting your first round pick? Come on now, you ain't trying to do. I know teams do that, but you're not trying to do that. And I think it's also good business to put your first round pick in a situation where she can make a roster and stick in the league. That's good business.
And you got an asset, a quality player.
Right. You got an asset, and that's good business. Like, you want to be known as somebody who's going to treat your players right.
Yeah.
Especially since people may think, well, not people.
Otherwise,
I don't think players think it, but there's that idea.
There's this stench around the media that Fish and Candace didn't get along.
Right.
And then when she left, people think, oh, she left because she didn't like Fish. Completely forgetting that maybe she's want to go back to Chicago, bro. Like, she is from Naperville.
Right.
Maybe she just want to go hoop for home.
She just want to eat Portillo's.
Maybe she want to go to Giordano's.
Yep.
She want to go to Harold's, the actual Harold's, not the one that's in Hollywood, the real Harold's, not the one that's in Hollywood charging $20 for a whole 6-piece. The real prices. She want to go to Sharks. She want to go to Gibson's.
$20 for 6 pieces of chicken?
Nah, literally, they will charge you like $18, $20 for a 6-piece wing at the Harold's in Hollywood. Why do you
wait? Wings? I thought you at least meant like 6 of the 8 pieces of the actual chicken.
No, wings.
6.
I mean, they got whole wings, but still, like, it don't make sense.
$3 per wing?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
She want to go get the real Harold's. 6-piece, $8.
Look, I'd have left just because of that. If Harold's was my thing, I'd have left just because of that. I'm not about to pay $3 for no chicken wing.
Like,
for a whole chicken wing,
and
it's in Hollywood.
It's time to go.
I'm not about to pay $3 for no Hollywood chicken wing. Nah, man, I gotta go to South LA. Something, man. No,
I gotta go to Louisiana fried chicken.
I'm just gonna have to call it today and go to Popeyes because I'm not about to pay $3 for no whole chicken wing.
Facts.
Nah, bro. Mm-mm. Whole Foods, Trader, all these places sponsor us because no, anybody who wants to sponsor us, I'm not ashamed of it. Sponsor us with some chicken and money.
Chicken.
And money. We will eat the chicken
money.
And the money. Vegan chicken, whatever you want to do. But yeah. All right. So, looking forward to this season. Friday's the first game. It'll be interesting to see how they do with a full active roster. And I'm also looking forward to see what essentially close to a full active roster looks like for the Wings. I want to see what this number 1 pick looking like. I want to see what this Charlie Collier looking like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She had all that hype. She was basically deemed to be the number 1 pick before the draft even started. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because they had promos for the draft.
They did have
and it was only Charlie Collier. They had no other player. Nobody else was promo but Charlie Collier.
Yeah.
It was like Moses and the stones. So let it be written, so let it be done. Charlie Collier was the number 1 pick. And she's about to come to LA and get her welcome to the league moment. I want to see it. And we'll be there. We'll be there. So I appreciate you. Yo, I know we didn't get a chance to do the song at the game. I know that we're going to work on that.
We're going to do it.
DJ Malski owes me since I played in the trivia game and slightly, apparently embarrassed myself. But I also
you definitely did lose.
I lost, but I won. You know why? Because my host won in arena host. Shout out to Ari.
Your host won in arena host.
Yes, it was a competition for who was going to be the Sparks in arena host. That. So the lady who hosted my Q&A, she won. So therefore I won. It was all a part of my plan. Thank you. I wanted my person to win. So I gave those answers, and that's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
Fair.
Pavy, what you working on? Give us your plug.
Songs about women out right now. Make sure y'all go check that out. There will be a new Hoops and Brews episode coming soon. Like tomorrow soon. But yeah, songs about women. Songs about women. Make sure y'all go check that out.
What's the Hoops and Brews topic? What y'all talking? Y'all breaking down this playoff?
Yeah,
Oof.
man. We gonna break down if the Lakers gonna even make the playoffs.
Well, they're gonna make the play-ins.
Yeah, but that don't mean they're gonna make the playoffs.
Wait, aren't the play-ins the playoffs?
Not exactly.
No,
not to me.
Okay, so basically, you have to make. Yes, I agree with you, because if you don't make the actual playoffs, then you can make the lottery.
Yes.
So yes, if you are in the NBA lottery, you are not in the playoffs. I agree with that.
Yes. So yeah, but yeah, songs about women out right now. Make sure y'all go check that out. Every streaming service you can get it on.
Okay, yeah. You can check out my work on Winsidr.com. Also follow me on Twitter at John W Davis. All right, y'all. It's been the Spark Report. John W Davis and Pavy. Peace.